Into your hands I commend my spirit. Hi guys, this is Commend Me Podcast. The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be in darkness. And if the light in you is darkness, how great will the darkness be? Okay, so one, you can kind of take this as like a continuation of last week's episode, right? Like what you choose to look at matters, and like it's if your eye is sound, if you're choosing good and light, right? But then what we're actually going to be using this as is going to be, is your outlook sound, is your perspective sound, right? Is the way that you look at the world sound, right? And conveniently for us, the church gives us everything that we need. We're kind of going to be discussing this in like parallel with like mental health stuff, because I just think, I don't know, like the church provides so many solutions for things if you use them well, which I think is kind of how anything works. A good thing only works well if you use it well, and people kind of overestimate the effectiveness of like therapy. And I don't know, like if I wanted to get more opinionated, which I probably eventually will do, I could talk about like, I don't know, pharmaceutical stuff and dealing with mental health, because I'm very opinionated on that and have done kind of some research on it. And even just a lot of therapies are just not as, it's just, they're not that effective. And so what's the better thing? Our faith, because of course it is, right? Like God put us in this world and he prepared us to get through it in all of its hardships and situations you find yourself in, and he made you exactly how you are. There was no mistake. And so anything that you're dealing with, like, it is part of God's plan. And so having that kind of outlook and things is what we're going to be getting into. So basically, to kind of wrap that up, is that the church is training your eye to see the good, right? And it's actually forming it. That's the thing with a lot of just therapy, and especially drugs, like medication for mental health issues, which also as a kind of PSA, it is situational. That's the thing. It's definitely productive. It is definitely a tool to have, right, as a society. But is it the answer? Obviously not. It's preferable people are not reliant on medications. And so, I don't know, that's going to be kind of that conversation, and maybe eventually I will do a whole episode just talking about that, and more like an ethics episode, because I really do enjoy those kinds of topics, but I don't know. So anyway, so we're talking about how the church goes and trains your eye to perceive well and accurately, but you actually have to utilize it. And I don't know, just like those medications, those therapies, like that is you're treating the symptoms, you're putting a band-aid on it. It's not the fix. The church is the fix, right? For all things, like you will never be fully content or fulfilled with those answers, because those aren't the answer. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. And so let's see, we'll pull up my notes. I think I've gotten to the point now where I can actually like plan an episode and have it all structured and be able to read my cues and it not totally throw me off guard, or not off guard, off track, because that was my first episode. But we're like getting better. Okay, so all right, we kind of just started getting into that. So it's going to be healing compared to management, right? Christ wants to heal us. Christ wants to make us new, right? You become this new and better thing. And so what does that look like, especially in comparison to these modern answers? Because anything that the church offers you, or God offers you, or Christ offers you, like the good and holy and true thing, there is going to be a cheaper, easier version, right? And then I don't know, like we are getting into touchier subjects for sure. So I don't want to, I don't know, like, it's not in every case situation that I'm critical of it. I mean, I myself have gone to therapy. I myself have used medications at different points. Like, it's not a judgment of anybody, but it's just looking at it as, is this the answer or enough of an answer, and how do you relate it to our faith is kind of this conversation that we're having. And this also, again, is going to be one of my episodes. This is an open conversation. Leave comments, please. Please comment. While I'm at it, go subscribe. But, like, leave a comment. I actually go and will, like, research and, like, figure things out and discuss with you and whatever. So, leave a comment. If anything bothers you and irks you and you want to let me know, tell me. If you have some answer, if you have some source for me, like, please. I want to learn. I want you guys to learn. Go pursue something. This opens a question for you. Like, I wonder what more of church teaching is on this. Go figure it out, dude. And let me know too while you're at it. And so, anyway, but with that kind of PSA, healing versus management of those kind of internal issues, because ultimately that's what they are. Like, I know there's like clinical depression, but there's also reasons behind those things, like almost always, like anxiety, like all of these things, like there's like these phenomenon that, like, one, have some kind of cause. And I never want to imply that, oh, this is like punishment for something. Like, it's definitely not, like, as just a general statement. But, like, also, these can be effects of just the current situation that you're in. Like, there was some times in my life, like, I know exactly why I was having a hard time. That doesn't take away from the fact that I was having a hard time, right? And then there's been periods where I'm like, man, like, everything is going well. Like, why can't I just, you know? And so, there's both. It's not like a punishment, but then also, like, nothing is just by accident. Like, everything, like, if you really believe that, like, God is in charge of your life, or like moving things on purpose, like nothing's just like a coincidence. Like, I don't know, like there's a reason that you're experiencing what you are experiencing, and there's a way to get through it in which it glorifies God, or I don't know, like it's part of his will, right? Then that has to affect like how you move through the things, right? And so, yeah. And then, I don't know, like, again, it's just kind of frustrates me, like, the Band-Aid situation, or Band-Aid treatments I was talking about previously, right? Like, just a lot of therapy becomes an opportunity for you to be in an echo chamber a little bit. There's this huge problem right now with younger people using, like, AI as a therapist, which is a lot more of a echo chamber, because it's designed to be, like, it's designed to kind of validate you, and like whatever your intended destination in the conversation is, AI is intelligent, right? Like, you can just having a conversation with somebody, you can kind of see what their end goal for you to leave with is. AI can pick up on a lot of those things and kind of get you there, because that's where you are going anyway, and you want them to validate you in whatever thing you're describing, right? And so it causes a lot of problems, because one, you need someone to be like, no, that's not the truth, this isn't the best thing, or you're wrong, or whatever, and actually be able to like you can't take like the human out of struggle, right? And dealing with it and support, right? And so I don't know, like, it gives you no, I don't want to say structure, but there's like there's just kind of like endless, like whatever you come up with will end up being the answer, because AI isn't really truly opinionated in and of itself. Like, it'll take what you say and can just kind of work with that, right? And it's led people to be like super delusional and just disconnected from reality, right? Ultimately, you're just disconnected from reality. And so even though a therapist isn't that, and there's definitely good therapists out there that provide like proper combativeness, almost is what I would want to say, or even a friend or even a family member, like whoever you're confiding in, because you are like a person meant for community and connection. And like, if you're going through something hard, it is very, very normal to go to another person with it. And so definitely do not stop doing that. But there's also something just so interesting about like the dynamic of you and this person that is being paid to talk to you and technically to help you, but it's to this endless standard. Not quite like AI, but like, I don't know, like psychology is not a hard set science like a lot of other sciences, right? And I mean, all science is kind of speculative, or like this is the understanding for right now, right? Because it can always change and evolve and get better and be refined. But especially with psychology, you have a lot of adaptations. What is it now? Like 6, because we're on the DSM-5, like something. But I don't know. Like, it just gets changed. What's the clinical perspective? And you can see now with how they treat stuff like with transgenderism and gender affirming care and blah blah blah, like, and kids, how they're treating that is fundamentally immoral in Catholic theology. Like, it just is. And so this person has been trained to help you and get you to some healthy end and conclusion, right? But it's not necessarily rooted in morality. And you can also find Catholic therapists. Like, there's definitely that as an option. But even with that, I would say, like, be prudent, because honestly, anytime you're trusting a source in terms of advice, be calls for some awareness, right? Like, it's different going to a priest who has been ordained by the church to be, like, he's a shepherd, you're the flock, right? Like, there's that relationship, compared to just somebody out in the world. Even if Catholic, somebody out in the world, like, you don't know what their faith actually is or looks like. Compared to a priest, there's some kind of responsibility a little bit taken from you, because you're getting advice from him who has authority from Christ as like a leader in the church, right? And so, I don't know, like, it's just kind of something to bear in mind. It's a little bit of a side tangent, or like not as critical to the church will also do those things for you, but it's more of a call to exercise prudence and awareness in what you are trusting as a source of ultimately discernment, right? Because they're informing you of what your perspective ought to be, and so that calls for awareness. But yeah, so that's kind of that I want to hold. But I don't know, and just again, like, the church offers true and real healing. Christ offers true and real healing, compared to like just getting through Tuesday, just getting through this point, just getting through this point. And sometimes that is all you need, is like to get through the day. Like, sometimes when, I don't know, depending on how dire the situation is, getting a person through an hour, right? And so I'm not ignorant to that, but when you're talking about the bigger picture and kind of, honestly, it's an ideal. And that's what we've talked about in all of these episodes. And I think I am not fully living like most of the things that I talk about. Like, this is an ideal. This is the beautiful standard that Christ has set for us, and expectation that the church holds for us. But there's a lot of things that I haven't followed through on rightly, or certainly, that I can tell you, like, oh, I know, because I've done this rightly and certainly. And I hope that you're not coming to me for, like, I'm not on the other side of it telling you, because I'm not a saint. And we have had that conversation before, but so I don't know. Like, again, even with me, you're watching this show. I am not a priest. I have not been through seminary and ordained to speak the word of God, right? But this is something that I'm passionate about and love, and am trying to do God's will and, I don't know, praise him in. And so even with this, watch this with discernment. Be prudent, even with people like me who are talking about God, right? Because ultimately you have to be going through the church and scripture and the real things set by God, right? Because this isn't a replacement, or this is like a good positive addition to other things that you should be doing, which we'll talk about those other things in terms of, I don't know, getting that ordered lens and good holy perspective and in relationship to good mental health. Like, I know I'm one of those people that I want answers. Like, if I'm having a hard time, I'm going into research mode immediately. And I don't know, it's like this podcast and this podcast, or, oh, I'm gonna read this self-help book, or I'm gonna do this. And then once I read this, once I become this more aware, all my problems are gonna be gone. I'm gonna be fixed because I'm aware enough. Like, I know, like, I'm ahead of it. I'm ahead of the thing, instead of really trusting in God. And sometimes just like sitting with the readings of the day, it's like, okay, this is what like God gave me just for today. And, you know, I'm having this bad day on this day, that there's like nothing's an accident, like something there. I'm always surprised, like, oh my gosh, this really applies to my day right now. It's like, yeah, of course it does, you know, of course it does. There's like one of those little winks, you know. But I don't know, like, that's in a time of real distress, that's a better approach than going and just like trying to find all of these answers. But all of those people who are discussing stuff like this and God, it is good and holy work that they're doing, right? But it's still not going to mass. It's still not reading the Bible. It's still not, like, yeah, receiving Christ in communion. Like, it's still not. Confession will always be a better answer than watching a podcast like this, right? And so, yeah. And like, also, I feel like we've gotten away from the practice of like spiritual directors, because I think historically they were much more prevalent than they are, I don't know, now with priests available. Maybe I'm not. Maybe there's just like, I don't know, just a lot of saints write about like trust your spiritual director. I'm like, I don't have one. If you can find one, find one of those, because again, will be better than watching videos like this. But yeah, so I don't know, like, it's just one of those kind of things that like demands prudence and discernment. And so I don't know, like, the relief of like going to therapy, even if it is a relief and does a good thing, is still temporary compared to conversion and real change with Christ, was ultimately my point there. And so I don't know, like, it's like, I'm just trying to be intentional about how far I go, because it's easy to say something that's really controversial and will be more maybe validating or like make you more fired up to hear. Like, I could talk about like that world being like the anti-sacrament of a lot of what the church offers in its real sacraments. But I don't know that I would really go that far. And I don't want to go that far. Like, that's like, those things can still be good and still also just be okay, you know? And so, but let's see if my things will load. Okay, because, well, now I want to shift into, because it's obvious what the tools of the sacraments are kind of doing, right? Being in confession, which is such a, like, it is honestly a parallel for therapy, and I don't know, there's just a lot of things where, like, the church or the world imitates God and his design a lot. Probably exclusively, honestly, because I don't know what we're coming up with that's like truly independent from God's plan and will, and whatever. But confession, receiving communion, right, the mass, baptism, the sacrament of marriage, like, it's become this sanctified thing, and obviously religious life, and anointing of the sick, and confirmation, which is strengthening, and I love it, and I want to do a whole episode just about confirmation. But yeah, so there's like, are the tools, but what is it delivering to you, right? So I want to talk about, like, Christ's mercy as, like, I don't know, like, such the first step to moving past maybe your past life, maybe your current life, right? Like, it's so, I don't know, just kind of radical. And we've talked about, like, he just forgives you when it's gone, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. There's no other situation really that, like, where are you gonna run into that? Like, he truly and really forgives you, and you do not deserve it at all. Like, it is just a pure gift stemming from love. But it, like, gives you permission to let go of things, and part of accepting his mercy is moving on yourself, right? Like, okay, God has forgiven you, you've gone to confession, you've made a good holy confession, you've done your penance, like, your past, you've done what you were called to for whatever sin was in your life. Like, now live like you're forgiven. Stop stressing out about it. Live well, you know? Like, let it be gone. Let it be a lesson, and you are reliant and totally reliant on him, and that is it. And then you have to move on. Like, you can't keep going back to whatever sin or whatever situation and people. Like, I don't know, like, there's just something about, like, either you are receiving his mercy, which enables you to kind of disconnect from whatever this thing was, the past, which is heavy and difficult to do, but also you are called to mercy. So no matter what, there should be nothing that you're just dragging along with you. It, like, that would be weighing you down in a kind of mental health context. Does that make sense? Like, it's, you are either being called to be merciful or receive mercy, and either way, like, that's the healing part, like, that's the good part, that's the other side part, right? And so I don't know, and it's just, like, interesting too, because you are still a person, like, you aren't totally separated from, like, just the realities of being in this world. Like, a hurt will still hurt, and you can forgive, and it will still hurt, but there's a kind of freedom in that, right? Where it's not, that's a change in lens, that's a different approach to life now, with accepting that of you are either called to be merciful or receive mercy is now a different perspective, and allows you to walk more freely in the future. That's my ultimate point there. Not that, like, oh, I don't know, I guess I kind of rescind my statement of, like, nothing, then you shouldn't be bringing any weight forward, but in terms of, like, functionally, does that make sense? Like, I feel like it's that active choice of choosing to be merciful or receive mercy. Like if you're confronted with a situation and it reminds you of some past hurt, and it's choosing the peaceful, kind, gentle, holy thing in that moment, that's continuing your receiving mercy and being merciful, whatever the situation demands of you, right? And so it actually dictates how you act in the future and right now. And it's not just like, oh yeah, I forgive them. Like, it's like, now you have to be different. If you were confronted with the same thing, you have to be different now. And so, I don't know, because there's like, I don't know, like also the church allows you to focus a lot more on, it actually calls you to focus on the external, not the internal. Like you are called to die to self, which isn't just like, I don't know, some like punishment or some like, oh, well, you'll get to heaven if you get through this. Like, it's actually good for you. If you are so focused on the internal and like are being selfish and self-centered, like you are going to just be unhappy. Like, it is a different way of being and living, and God knows that that's not good for you. And so, I don't know, like it's just interesting too, like even in those sacraments, right, where it's either mercy or love and his presence and a way to like actualize his will in like a very specific way, because he's given this to you. You're focusing now in all of those sacraments on like something else, and it's going to be him. So like it pulls you out of yourself, which is a lot, I feel like, of dealing with mental health stuff and just those kinds of problems, is getting outside of yourself. Like you get stuck in these circles and or just this nothingness, and you just can't escape it. So getting outside of that even a little bit is going to be more healing than just a pill, right? And so that, and then let's see what else I have here. I don't know. So there's also, like, we talked about mercy and this now freedom to act and move forward, and it's actually also a call to action, because now whenever you are confronted with that thing that pulls you back, like you are called to choose the merciful thing in that moment. Like there's something that you actually know you can do, like an answer, because that's the thing a lot of the time with like just the secular world of psychology. Like there is just these endless bounds of what could be the right thing, compared to the church is like, this is the right thing, here, I have it for you, here's the good and right thing. And so it's just a lot, like we do well with the structure, and it gives you that freedom to work in. And we talked about kind of that concept in the last episode with marriage, but I don't know, like it's that same principle. This is giving you a structure to operate within so that you can move freely and well, but then and like have a course of action. You're not lost, right? You're not lost in the cosmos. But I don't know, so there's like that side of it, but then also it's like the self-image piece, right? Like you are not obligated now to feel, I don't know, not feel bad for your past, but to move with confidence with God. Like it's like this, he has taken it, it is gone, and you can move in freedom again, you know? Which sounds a little rude, but it's a little bit like you don't need to manage your own perception of self, because it's just you figuring out the world and like moving in it. Like you have Christ, and he has the answer, and he's given you, like, you are good, now go do the good thing. You're not called to fix this problem that you should have to, but you would never be able to fully pay the price, but he's paid the price, so you're good. And it's not just like that has weight, and I'm expressing this with simplicity, but take it with simplicity and kind of move on, honestly. Like, what else are you gonna do? You cannot, like, you will never earn it. It will never make sense fully. Like, it just is. So take the gift that it is and, like, move with that. And so, I don't know, like, it's like, you don't have to, you can be more honest now, kind of. Like, you don't have to lie to, like, get through your life. Because if you are carrying the full weight of, like, your past and your sin and whatever, like, I don't know, like, just how much of mental health things, like, they are distinctive, but they have a lot of overlap where it becomes kind of just your beliefs about the world and yourself, right? That's cognitive behavioral therapy, is like changing your perspective, and it does help people a lot, and that's one of the more effective forms of therapy, I believe. And so the church does provide kind of a form of cognitive behavioral therapy. And so, I don't know, like, it's this belief, like, you are forgiven. It's changing your outlook on you. It's changing your outlook of what, like, your beliefs about the world. Like, nothing is set up against you. Like, this is God's will. Like, you're surrendering in that moment. You're surrendering yourself, like, in what you are. God has made you. Give yourself to him. Give your life to him. And whatever thing, like, let him have forgiven you, and just move on. Like, do your life, and, like, fully accepting that gives you the permission to not have to manage this self-perceptions. It's just, like, a huge weight off psychologically, honestly. Like, it's not just the weight of your sin, but also the, like, knowing that you have this weight of sin, right? And so, yeah. And then I kind of want to move it into something of the saints, because I want to try to pull in saint quotes and writings and things when I can, because they made it and they're awesome. But Saint Benedict has his 12 rules for humility, which all of them are awesome, and it's calling you into freedom through self-discipline and dying to your flesh and surrendering to God, right? Definitely for this episode, that's going to be my thing. Highly encourage you to go read that. Litany of Humility is awesome, but St. Benedict's 12 rules for humility is very, you'll feel attacked in something. One of them will be like, ooh, I don't want to do that. And then the one that I'm talking about is the one that I don't like at all. It actually really, I read it the first time and I was like, no, like, I hate that. And so, ironically, that's the one that I'm going to be talking about, and I believe it's from chapter 7. I don't know which rule it is, but I know it's in chapter 7, but it's slowness to laughter. That is his rule, to be slow to boisterous, just laughter and, like, entertainment. Like, just, I don't know, like, that's crazy. Being slow to laughter is one of his rules of humility. I was like, no, I hate that so much, but it actually makes so much sense. In relation to what we're talking about with, like, psychology and the church having answers to becoming mentally healthy and psychologically sound, right? The church encourages that and cultivates that more than anything else ever will. And even though that sounds depressing, like, I have to be slow to laughing, and, like, what about expressing joy? That's not the point of it. The point of it is being slow to sudden big emotion. Like, you're supposed to, with time and cultivating humility and virtue and a relationship with God and intimacy with him, you don't become more extreme, you become more stable in all circumstances, right? And so it's being just very aware, right? If somebody says something and if I'm just quick to laugh at anything, even if it's technically funny, like, I'm gonna laugh at things that aren't holy to laugh at, or I'm not gonna, like, there's just this kind of control of self, and then also just limiting your extremes in emotion. Like, you will be more peaceful, you'll be more, I don't know, just connected with God's plan for you. Like, in sad times, you're gonna react with less intensity, and in the really, really joyful times, like, you're gonna react with less intensity. And that's part of growing up. Like, I feel like you can see that a lot with, like, just mature older people. Like, they're just less, they've got a more stable situation, and so that's kind of what he's talking about or getting at. It's not don't be happy, but like limit your extremeness, kind of, right? And so I don't know, like, that you can really see the connection to, yeah, okay, it's one of the rules for humility, but then in relation to this concept of it's calling you to emotional stability, right? Ultimately. And so I don't know, again, it's not suppression. Well, and then I have more specifics too of, like, I don't know, touched on this of, like, the church pulls you out of your internal in a very physical way with the sacraments, but then also a lot of practices that you're called to, like having what is it called, of conscience, examination of conscience every day. Like, that is what you're called to go and evaluate your life. And you're called to fast. Like, you're called to deny your flesh in that way that kind of, it makes you sharper, it makes you less reactive, because you can choose the, like, physically uncomfortable thing. Like, you can then get through more mental challenges by that kind of discipline. Like, that's something that everyone recommends. Like, if you're really depressed, go on walks, go exercise, go do one little thing, like, that's like a choice that is good for you, right? As small as it has to be, but make the small choice. Like, that's awesome that you accomplished it, but you do have to make the choice in order to get better. And I don't know, like, that's kind of also the promise of a lot of what the secular therapy wants to give, where it's like, oh, here's the cure, where it's not a cure, you have to choose to get better. And so I don't know, like, that kind of establishes my perspective a lot clearer. Like, if you understand that as, like, an initial truth, if you have to choose to get better, where are you gonna go to for advice on how to get better? So that's kind of tying back into my being prudent of who you go to for advice. But anyway, so those kind of external practices, even just like kneeling in mass, like this, like, physical reality of just kind of, I don't know, it brings you outside of, like, this internal thing by being in pain, which is funny, but I don't know, like, it works. And the rosary, it's repetition, and, like, just these, like, rhythms, right? Even the liturgical year, it's very, like, you have these seasons that you're going through, and it's just good for you. It's just very, very, very sound, and you can see the design of it, right? And so, yeah, but kind of going back to my initial reading with that, it's not the absence of darkness, it's not going through hard things, it's having that sound eye. So choose who teaches your eye to be sound, to whatever, there's some analogy there, but you know what I'm saying. And then also that connection of, like, land on the stability, land on the choice of being the stable, grounded thing in the way that we're talking about. Yeah, that's gonna be my final thing. But Saint Dim's gonna pray for us. Be not afraid. Bye, guys.